Right now, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is so close to becoming House Speaker, he can almost taste it. He just needs a few more extreme friends on his side. And that's why we're seeing him pile on the threats about what he'll do once his party controls the House. Here's what he said about Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas this week during a trip to the Mexico border.
If Secretary Mayorkas does not resign, House Republicans will investigate every order, every action, and every failure. Will determine whether we can begin impeachment inquiry. We will hold our hearings at the border so the Democrats can no longer hide from the crisis they have created.
You heard that right. Regular hearings aren't good enough for Kevin McCarthy. He quite literally wants to take his show on the road. It seems to fit what we're seeing so far about what Republicans will do when they have the House majority. Plenty of performance, not much in the way of governing substance. This morning, Congressman Jake Auchincloss, Democrat from Massachusetts, joins us. Congressman, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Look, you and I both know there's quite a difference between the two parties in the House right now. While Democrats are rallying around a new generation of leaders, the top Republican is doing whatever he can to suck up to some of the most extreme members of his caucus. Are these idle threats, or do you think McCarthy will follow through on them?
Well, they're idle right now because Kevin McCarthy doesn't have the votes to become Speaker of the House. But they do continue a trend that we've seen over the last several years in which the GOP is increasingly playing to its extremist base in order to rally out the votes here. But we saw in the 2022 midterms that voters are rejecting extremism. And I hope that Kevin McCarthy heeds that lesson. The GOP wants to come in, take the gavel, take the initiative, and focus on lowering costs for families, focus on clean energy independence. Democrats are ready to work with them. And we just came off the heels of one of the most bipartisan Congresses in modern history, bipartisan infrastructure investment, bipartisan investments in semiconductor manufacturing and science, bipartisan gun safety legislation. With Speaker Pelosi's leadership and now with Hakeem Jeffries' leadership, Democrats are ready to work together in good faith on the problems facing the United States. But we're not going to engage in political theater, and we're certainly not going to aid and abet scurrilous attacks on the president designed only to weaken him.
You know, on top of all of the investigations House Republicans are promising, McCarthy says he's going to kick several high-profile Democrats off of committees like Eric Swalwell and Adam Schiff, people who are actually getting the job done for Americans. What's going to be the result of a party with control of the House for 2 years that seems completely focused on political revenge and nothing else substantive for America?
There are problems that we have right now, the cost of housing, the cost of health care, our fossil fuel emissions, that simply can't wait for 2 years. We can't afford to just do nothing for 2 years while Kevin McCarthy engages in showmanship and political theater for the delight of his Freedom Caucus and hardcore base. And so it's disappointing to me. But make no mistake, with Hakeem Jeffries, with Catherine Karp, with Pete Aguilar, with Joe Neguse, Democrats have a new generation of dynamic leaders, and we are battle-hardened from the Trump years, and we are not going to sit back for 2 years and let them launch hearings and allegations and attacks without merit. We are going to fight back ferociously.
Congressman, McCarthy has also threatened, as have several other high-profile Republicans, to reduce financial aid to Ukraine if the GOP were to take over the majority of the House. I know you served as a captain in the Marine Corps for the United States in active combat. How dangerous is this proposition to American national security if the Republicans follow through with that promise?
It's another example of brinksmanship and groveling to the base as opposed to doing what's best for the country. The Ukrainians are fighting on the front lines of the free world. President Biden's handling of this foreign policy has been masterful. He's engaged in really 3 separate initiatives. One is our strong alliances to present a united front to Russia. 2 has been the effective sanctions on Russia, and we're going to add to those this coming month with energy sanctions. And the 3rd has been the central bank sanctions, as well as financial and military support for the Ukrainians fighting. This has been effective. It's working. Ukraine is on the march. Kherson has fallen. The last thing we need right now is a divided United States as we try to rally the world going into a long, cold winter.
Our thanks this morning to Congressman Jake Auchincloss. We appreciate you for being here, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
And